Amazing.
Ruby, welcome. This
Thank you.
is another episode of Keeping Up with College. I'm with Ruby Lancaster. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, where you are living currently, and what school it is, and what you're studying, basically?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so obviously my name is Ruby. I come from Sydney. I'm 20 years old and I'm currently studying and playing soccer in Maryland at Montgomery College. It is my second year here. And yeah, I'm currently studying business at the moment.
Yeah, cool. So Montgomery College, that's a junior college, is it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool. And that's how is it living in Maryland?
It's actually really good. We're pretty close to DC and a few
Yeah,
other states as well. So it's, pretty local to a lot of big places and cities.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. Okay. Um, let's take it back before college even started for you.
Yeah.
You're a goalkeeper,
Mhm.
you've played soccer, I'm assuming since you were very little.
That's correct. Yeah.
So tell us about a bit about like your growing up with soccer and any other sports that you might have played, and yeah, just everything that happened before college.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, as you said, I started playing soccer when I was really young, I think like 5 years old.
Yeah.
I played a few other sports. I used to also play water polo as well. Soccer was kind of my side sport that I would play. It was just an
Oh,
extra
okay.
sort of sport. But water polo was sort of always my focus as a kid. And yeah, so I played both of the sports all the way, up until now. I played water polo representatively when I was like from 10 to 18. So that was my main focus for a lot of years. And then when I was about, I think, 15, soccer started to become my main focus as well. And that's when I kind of realized that I wanted to play in college. And I also realized that I was a goalkeeper at about 14. So I realized that I wanted to play soccer in college as well. So then at that point, I sort of started prioritizing soccer over water polo. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, just found my way and here we are.
Here we are. Amazing.
Yeah.
What was the main thing that like led you to be like, oh yeah, like that's what I want to do. I want to go to the US. I want to play college soccer. I want to do that. Like what led you to do that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was exactly like one thing. I know from a kid, I had always heard about people going to the US and even having like a high school exchange semester or term abroad. And I always loved the idea of doing that.
Mhm.
And after looking into it, I sort of felt like I wanted to be over there for a longer period of time, really immerse myself in in the community and just overseas. So I thought that the college system would be better for me, so I could spend 4 years over instead of just a term.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I just thought that'd be great to sort of put myself out of my comfort zone and really try to see who I could grow into, when I'm out there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, how was the process like for you when you like uh first of all signed with us? Did you go through Matt or Richo or both of them? How did that process work for you?
Yeah, so initially I went through Matt. Matt was my main point of contact. And then I think as the months went on, Jacob as well was added on, and he was another point of contact with me. And it was actually pretty easy. I'm really thankful for Green Room because of how much, like, I know how much paperwork and
Mm.
how long the process takes. And they did take a lot of the weight off our shoulders. And yeah, it was pretty happened really fast.
Yeah.
There's by the time you start the process, you think it's going to be a long time before offers or anything starts coming in. But you set up a profile, and all of a sudden interest starts coming in, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so what happened with like green room futures? Like what was it like a seminar that you went to, or did you just apply online? How did that look for you?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of random because I was looking around when I decided that I wanted to play in college and overseas. I was looking around to try to find someone that could help me with the
Mm.
process of getting over there. And none of them were really sticking with me. And then I had a family friend who had previously worked with Matt at a different company. And so we'd reached out to them and they'd, recommended Matt and said he helped them. So we ended up reaching out and yeah, so we were referred to by a friend, which thankfully
Okay.
worked out.
Yeah, awesome. It's amazing what connections can do for you.
Yeah.
Um, like having a friend that has gone through the same processes, or when you're trying to move on, to find another school after this one, or
Yeah.
whatever, you can use those connections um that you've made in the past to help yourself in the future. And the same things happened with me. I went through Matt as well
Yeah.
at his previous company,
Hmm.
and I graduated, I moved back to Australia, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like I kind of want to help, the same kids that to go through this process that I went
Yeah.
through as well. And so I reached out to him, and here we are.
Yeah.
Full circle moment, honestly.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so Montgomery College, what does your daily schedule look like for you? Like a day in the life?
Yeah, it does kind of vary depending on if we're in season or off season. I think at the moment, just a standard day in the life, I usually wake up at 7. Thankfully, we don't have morning practices yet.
Yeah.
I wake up at 7. I usually leave my house around 8. And then I have around 2 classes a day at the moment. So I'm usually in class from about 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Hmm.
And then I have a few hours of where I can just relax and eat lunch if I want, or just chill. And then we usually have 2 hours of a field session and then an hour of gym. And then that's kind of it for me. I go back home and go to bed around 9 p.m.
Yeah. What are you studying again?
I'm studying business.
Business. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you currently taking classes that go towards your business degree?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What classes are they?
At the moment, I'm taking economics, accounting, and math statistics.
Okay. And do you
Yeah.
have core classes to go with those?
Yeah. So from memory, the accounting, I think all of them at the moment are core classes, ones that I had to take. I did take an elective earlier in the semester, but it was a fast-paced class that finished before midterms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Um, so for academics so far,
Mhm.
what has like been the biggest challenge for
I think that is probably an obvious one, but just trying to manage the workload with the training load as well and try not to get caught up in either because I think it's really easy, especially when you're in season and you're training, multiple hours a day and
you?
playing a few times a week. It's easy to kind of get caught up in that and forget about, the homework that was due the next day. So I think trying to stay on top of the work and get it done even in advance before these games and training has helped a lot. But I definitely it is hard to get your head around and manage.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, it definitely is. You said you're a second year, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And so it's almost May. Are you graduating with your associate's degree soon?
I am not actually.
Okay.
So I actually took a semester off last year, my
Okay.
fourth semester. I had an injury, so I decided to come back home for six
Okay.
months.
Yeah.
And I redshirted that season as well, just so I could keep my year of eligibility. And then I've decided to play that extra semester this year, and I'll get my associates at the end of the year.
Okay, cool. Do you want to explain a little bit about what redshirting means for those that might not know what that entails?
Yeah, of course. I redshirting, there can be sort of two reasons. It can be academic redshirt or like an athletic redshirt. So if you get injured, academic redshirt, so maybe you don't meet the minimum required passing credits for a year, which I think for NJCAA it's 24 passing credits a year. And then there's also the athletic one. So if you get injured in advance, instead of not wasting your year, but to save that year of eligibility, you can redshirt before the season starts. And it kind of just means you don't play. You can still train if you're able to, but you're not allowed to play. But you have that extra year of eligibility.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. Um, so before moving to the US, is there anything that
Yeah.
you wish you knew before coming?
I think I think especially I think with the homesickness part of it, I think you try to prepare as much as you can for it, but it's so different once you come over and all of a sudden you realize you're in a new country.
Mhm.
You don't know anyone, you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
It's all pretty overwhelming. And I think instead of trying to plan or like, really prepare and plan for it, just being open to whatever happens when you're over there. Because I was trying to plan for, I'll get over homesickness by doing X, Y, and Z. But then when you come over here, it's a whole lot different. It's kind of hard to get through it. So yeah, I think just different advice of just being open for once you get over there.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously like it becomes really real
Mm.
once you kind of like step off the plane or once you get into your dorm and like you see your bed and where you're actually going to be living for and
Yeah,
sleeping in for the next 5 months for that at least that semester.
yeah,
So it's kind of daunting. It's really scary. But yeah, it's also like how do you deal with it? Like how can you use the friends or the people or the support around you to sort of deal with it? So how do you like deal with your homesickness? Is it like I know technology is great, for calling back home.
yeah.
Time zones aren't fantastic, but like how do you deal with it specifically?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, technology, thankfully, today is pretty great. So I do try to contact at least one person from my family a day. I speak to them over the phone. That does kind of help keep me in the loop back home. Like I'm not missing out on anything that's going on back home. And I think also while I'm in season, it's a lot easier to deal with the homesickness because there's so much going on over here that your mind
Yeah.
is focused on everything that's going on here, like assignments and games, instead of, oh my gosh, like everyone's back home and I'm not back home. I do think that, when I'm not in season or just first coming over those first few weeks where you're not training, that I I think for me, I just try to fill up those days with everything that I can, go and explore the city. And I also give myself a few weeks, or I say, look, in a month's time, if I'm still extremely homesick, where
Mhm.
it's, horrible, there is always a plane ticket home. Like the option is you can always go home.
Yeah.
And normally by the time, like always by the time that month hits or whatever time frame I give myself, I love the place and I actually really like exploring
Yeah.
the place. So I kind of give myself a bit of time to just settle
Yeah.
and I always come around
Mm.
after a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the best thing about fall sports, so us for soccer and and volleyball, I don't know any other sports around the fall, at least that weren't in my colleges.
Yeah.
But the best thing for fall sports is that like you come in a couple weeks before school actually starts and you're in preseason. And that what that
Yeah.
looks like is you're literally busy all day, every day from get-go at 6 a.m. to a normal bedtime. That you should be getting to at like around 9, 10 p.m. But yeah, you're just like it's all about well, for us, it's all about soccer, eating good, just hanging out, training twice a day, go to bed. And that's your first like week, 2 weeks, and then you slowly get busier. But that's kind of like the best thing about us for fall sports
Yeah.
because it's all about soccer and just hanging out. And it's so fun. And for new kids coming in, it's like you just kept busy. And that's what I really like about us fall sports, which is
Yeah,
really cool.
exactly. It
Yeah,
does help. It does help.
it really does. Yeah. Okay, so cultural differences. Have you noticed anything about food, people?
course. I always say to everyone, the food has been the biggest culture shock, I think, to me. And I
Mm.
think to most people that come over.
Mm.
It's it's just so different
Yeah,
over here.
it is. It is. Have you seen
But
like the Macca's um the fries, the size of them? Because I
they're
remember the first
massive.
time I saw Macca's fries, a large fry or a large drink, and I was
Yeah,
like this thing is just it's bigger
they're
than my
massive.
head.
I know. I sit there, I was like, I didn't this they like look like extra large meals. I was like, there I didn't order it
Yeah.
like the medium size or like the large size back home. So it's pretty, yeah, I learnt my lesson the first few times after ordering.
That's fun. Do
You
you have
kind
like
of
a favorite restaurant that you've tried and you can't find anywhere in Australia?
I love Kava. Kava is,
Really? Okay.
yeah, that
That's
is like one of my
it's got like a
favorite.
blue logo, doesn't it?
Um, I don't,
Maybe I'm thinking of
I
something.
think it's, I think you might be thinking of something. I think it's like a white logo with a yellow letter, like one yellow letter. It's a Mediterranean, it's like Chipotle, but like Mediterranean
What's it called
style.
again?
Kava,
How do you spell it?
Cava.
Ah, I think I've had that before.
I find it because I think everyone has to have
That's interesting.
Chipotle when they come over, but
Yeah.
I always find that I feel better after eating kava.
Hmm.
So I love kava and I don't have it back home.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I don't know about anywhere else, at least on the East Coast or in the rest of the country, but South Florida had Bole. Well, I don't know if you have that there. No, doesn't look like it. It's like the same thing as Carver. It's like
Yeah.
maybe not Mediterranean specifically, but it's like Chipotle. And like you can create your own
Mhm.
bowl. And it's like it's just like a healthier version of Chipotle.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
so it's interesting you say that. That's cool. Okay, so with the facilities at your college
Yeah.
specifically,
Mhm.
do you want to explain what there is? Like, is there like a weight room specifically for athletes, or is it for the public, like the students as well? Any ice bath? Like, what's your athletic training room like, and all of that?
Yeah, of course. I think for me, there are three different campuses for Montgomery College. So I don't really know about the other two because we don't really go to the other two. But for the Rockville campus, which is the one that we train on, we have the PDHP building, which has an athletic training room in there, as well as like the basketball courts where like obviously basketball teams and volleyball players play in.
Yeah.
We also have like an athlete rooms, like the athlete locker room. It's a
Okay.
massive room with a bunch of lockers. It has a few ice baths in there as well, showers and all that sort of thing. And then just down from the PDHP room, we have our soccer facility. So I think only a few years ago they recently like redid the whole thing. So there's AstroTurf. It's an AstroTurf field
Oh,
with a
nice.
grandstand, and then they have the soccer building as well next to it.
Hmm.
And we have the men's soccer team locker rooms as well as the women's soccer team locker rooms, and then our own athletic training room there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really lucky with the facilities that we have over here.
Yeah. So it's just that turf pitch that you have there, is it?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a grass one up the top in the middle of the track, but we train and play on the turf pitch down below.
Oh, okay. Is that because of
Yeah.
weather or is it just convenience?
I think it's a mix of both. I think weather and convenience, and it's also yeah pretty consistent. Turf is going to be pretty much the same day in
Yeah.
day out.
Yeah. So does it snow there at all?
It does. It kind of varies year to year. This year it was snowing all the way up until I think and like start of February, middle of February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was I had like a meter of snow at times where it was just everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. So training was delayed a little bit because there was snow all over the field, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty insane. And it gets pretty cold. I think it was -12 for a
Oof.
few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tough.
I like the cold, but not that cold.
Yeah. So you're originally from Sydney, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So was it really an adjustment for you? I know, I mean, I'm coming from Cairns. It's hot all year round.
Yeah.
But and I know Sydney isn't, say, as cold as Tasmania, but
Mhm.
was it like hard for you to adjust to the weather at all?
I mean, it's just different, like sort of weather. I think for the cold, I've always loved the cold and the snow.
Yeah.
Um, so I think for that, I was actually excited for it, and I didn't really have to adjust as much for the cold. But I think for the like for summer, surprisingly, it's a big adjustment, and it still is now. I don't think I'm ever going to be used to the summers over here, just because I think in being from Sydney, being so close to the beach, and
Right.
it's a different sort of hot. Whereas over here, it gets to 38 degrees, 40 degrees, and the beach is 3 hours or 4 hours away, and
Hmm.
it's a hot and humid sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you have like access to like a pool or something like that where you can go
Yeah, thankfully we do. The in the PDHP building we have indoor pool, so that's always nice to kind of cool down.
through? True. But you can't lounge out, like you go to a beach and you sunbake or go to a pool and sit by. Oh, yeah,
No, unfortunately not. That's why it kills me sometimes, especially in like summer and pre-season.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just you burn out there, but that's okay.
yeah. Okay, so far in college, like what's been like one of the best experiences you've had and what's been like sort of like a hard experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, one of the best experiences, I'd say just traveling with the team as
Okay.
well. It's
Yeah. Where
we'll
have you
spend
traveled to?
hours. We've traveled to New York City,
Cool.
um, New York, like on the border with
Yeah.
Canada, so up
Yeah.
like near Niagara Falls. So we've been up
Yeah.
there,
That would be
like
cold.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cold. Virginia. I
Cool.
think this year we're going to South Carolina and Florida as well. So there's
Cool.
quite a lot of trips, but you do spend, obviously, like you spend quite a lot of time traveling
Yeah.
with your teammates. And I think, the memories you make with them during that time as well. I think some of the best memories I have is at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, and then you said, well, like one of the harder
Yeah.
memories
Yeah.
or things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't, I don't, I mean, I would just say like, oh gosh, I don't even know. Um, like sport wise or just in anything
Yeah,
in
I
particular or
mean, yeah, most people would say like trying to handle like homesickness, obviously being so far from your family, that's always probably the hardest thing. But yeah, anything like academics that you might struggle with a class or like um you're trying to get over people's accents or anything.
yeah, I mean, I think homesickness is an obvious one, but it definitely does. Like, I've been here for 2.5 years, and it's still something I deal with every day.
Yeah.
And just I am grateful for technology though, because again, it doesn't feel like I'm missing out of much
Mm.
back home, which thankfully, because I think it would be a lot worse if I didn't have access, and talking
Yeah.
to people every day.
Imagine.
Um,
Imagine only
I
getting
know.
letters.
Oh, that'd be crazy. I was like, I get to keep up with the drama and everything that
Yeah.
happens back home.
Yeah.
I'm in the loop. So as soon as I come back home, I'm already updated with everything that's going on. But yeah, I think homesickness and even, some of the things that I experience over here, like traveling with the teammates and traveling to new states, that I'd love to have my family here to be doing with me as well, is
Yeah.
something that is always going to be hard to try to adjust to.
Yeah, I know like it's basically everyone's hardest, thing to deal with is not being close to family members or missing home and whatnot. And I know for me, the hardest part like about that was, whenever I'd go home or it's always fun going home, but the hardest thing for me is always saying goodbye to go back. So whenever I'd be going to the airport that day to go back to the States,
Yeah,
without fail, I would cry every single time, even after
yeah,
4 or 5 years of living away in the States. Like it's just
yeah.
because it's such a far journey, and like you just
Hmm.
know that you can't come back next week or you can't
Yeah.
come back next month or something. Um,
Hmm.
you know it's going to be like a 5 month, 6 month, or even for some people it's 12 months. You know, they don't come home
Yeah,
over some holidays, and it's always tough. So I know for
yeah,
without fail, every single time I would cry.
yeah.
It
No,
was,
I get you. I think it's the same with my parents. Every single time, everyone's just a mess. It has to be a quick goodbye and go
yeah.
because you can't
And
spend too long.
it doesn't help when, mum's, shedding a few tears herself, and I'm like, Mum, come on.
Yeah. I was like, Mom, just make it. I was like, I love it, but just gonna make it easier for both of us to just
Yeah,
walk away. Otherwise, none of us are gonna leave.
yeah. But it kind of just like puts into perspective how, you know, how much you're loved or how much
Yeah.
he cares and how much you're supported. So
Yeah.
in a way, it's
Exactly.
hard, but it's a good hard, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's so worth it as well, and it just makes you more grateful every time you come home to be able to spend the time, with your family.
You kind of like
Which,
savor every moment that you get. So because you
yeah,
only have a limited
exactly.
time um
Yeah,
before you're going back.
exactly.
Yeah, so you talked about your good experiences where you travel with the team and stuff. Um, how are you traveling to these places? Is it for soccer, like for a game or something? And do you travel by bus or by several cars, or how does your team do it?
Yeah, I think at the moment, all of the places we've been to for these games have been accessible, like by driving. So what we normally
Mhm.
do is we always get a team bus wherever we play. Everyone has to go on it. You don't get you can't drive if you want,
Yeah, okay.
which is good because it kind of everyone gets to spend that time together. And yeah, we normally get a bus, and it could be anywhere from 30 minutes to 8, 9 hours on the bus.
Hmm.
But yeah, normally bus, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Some colleges do flying, which is
Yeah,
really fun. It's really cool. Some
yeah.
even do private jets,
I've
which is
seen, I know.
crazy, isn't it? I think so. When I was at Creighton University in Omaha,
Hmm.
Nebraska, basketball was massive at that school. And when the men's basketball, I think, made I want to say Elite Eight, or maybe
Hmm.
even the College Cup, the Final Four teams, they they went and flew private jet, like their own. It was crazy. I just remember seeing that they would get free gear like shoes, beanies, hoodies, anything that you can think of that's related to basketball, and athleisure wear they got,
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy. So some
yeah,
some colleges have, a whole heap of money where they can splurge on, easier travel, like flying,
yeah,
like a 9 hour bus ride. But all in all, you're traveling with your team. You get to hang out with your best friends for however
yeah,
many hours, and you get to travel and see, you know, a side of the US that you haven't seen before, or,
yeah,
travelers travel, and it's always like a fun experience. At least
yeah.
it was cool.
No, exactly. And I'm always grateful, for being able to travel to these places. So bus, whatever it is, it's
Yeah,
always
it's
it's always
always
a
fun.
good time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any other Aussies or internationals at your school?
There are quite a lot actually at our school, and especially in the sports teams. I've
Yeah.
seen quite a lot of internationals. We did have, I think we had an Australian on the men's team my freshman year.
Okay.
And then I've played with on the women's team. I've played with a girl from France and a girl from Brazil. And then I think we have a few more internationals coming in. But on the men's team and the other sports teams, there's internationals from all over the world. It's pretty crazy.
What's so great about JUCO specifically is like there's so many internationals that filter through the JUCO system, um,
Yeah,
which is really cool. And I don't I feel like there's no in between of we have so many internationals, like basically everyone's from another country or all of us are American, you know?
yeah,
I feel like there's
yeah,
no real in between. It just depends on what kind of school you go to.
yeah,
But I know something like that was important for me, that I wanted to not feel alone and
yeah,
have all these other internationals, that we could bond over, leaving our home country to go to the US and stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Okay, so what is like your living arrangement like? Are you living in like a dorm or in a share house, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's kind of changed here and there over the 2.5 years I've been here. For the first year, I lived in an apartment with some girls from the basketball team. So
Okay.
we all shared an apartment off campus
Yeah.
because my college doesn't have on-campus housing, so that's why it's off campus.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first year I lived off campus, and then my second year and up until now, I've been living in my teammates, like with my teammates, so in their family house, and
Okay.
yeah, so just if they'd have a spare room, so I live with their family.
Yeah, okay, nice. So with your apartment in your first year,
Mhm.
was that like, did you have to pay rent, or how did that work with paying wise?
Yeah, we had to pay rent, utilities,
Mm.
all of the bills. We kind of just split it up between us because there was an equal amount of people and
Yeah.
rooms.
Can
But
I
yeah,
ask how much you were paying per month?
I think for the apartment we were paying each was around 600, including
Yeah.
utilities and bills,
Yeah.
which was, pretty good. It was a nice apartment in a nice area. So yeah.
That's exactly what I was paying for my
Oh
apartment
wow.
my final year, a final two
Yeah.
years. It kind of went up, obviously,
Hmm.
year after year, but I was paying around 600, um,
Yeah. Well.
including utilities and all of that. So, and that's US
Yeah.
dollars as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's tough. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so we have about 5 or so minutes left.
Perfect.
Um, I'm gonna ask a couple more questions.
Thanks.
Let's see. Are you on insurance? Is that provided from the school or from your team?
No, I am on insurance, but it isn't provided by my school. I went through Grey Room Futures actually had an
Okay.
insurance plan or service
Okay.
that they provided. So we went through that and we had like a student athlete
Yeah.
plan. Yeah.
You know what it's called, that health insurance?
It's a combination with World Trips, I think,
Yeah.
who then go under United Healthcare.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's them.
Okay. Yeah. United Healthcare is pretty universal. I think it's the most common one. At least
Yeah.
I use that going from college to college. It was like the main one that pretty much everyone
Yeah.
went through. So um
Yeah, and pretty solid. So
pretty standard. Yeah, it's good.
yeah.
How did you like, so you fly into which airport?
One of them on the West Coast normally, so like LA or San Francisco
Yeah.
or
And then you
Dallas.
transfer to
And
Washington
then I
or
normally,
Baltimore?
yeah, depending on whatever is cheaper to get over,
Fair enough.
Washington or Baltimore, because thankfully we're about 30 minutes from both airports.
Yeah.
So it's just whatever's easier normally.
So how do you get from that airport to school? Like, does coach come and pick you up, or teammates, or how do you organize it?
All the times I've come in, it's usually been teammates come and pick me up.
Yeah.
My coach insists on having people come and pick me up and even drop me off. So when I fly home, I
Yeah.
have teammates come and take me to the airport and say goodbye, and then I go home.
And how was that when you first came in? Like when you didn't even know anyone, when you didn't know your teammates or nothing, like was that still the case? Like would they still come and pick you up?
Yeah, they still came and picked me up, and it was actually pretty good because it meant that, when I went into preseason, I had someone at least that I knew a
Yeah.
tiny bit, even if I'd only spoken with them for 30 minutes on the car ride there, like back from the airport. I had someone I could kind of go to in preseason just to like feel familiar around and get comfortable.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's good. So it was like pre-arranged, you like messaged on WhatsApp or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
I knew of them, and then we just were able to talk more, and they did show me around actually the area
Yeah.
when I got in, which was good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And how did you like get some of your things ready? Like, did you have to organize your own bedding or anything like that? Like food wise, did they take you to Walmart or something?
Yeah. I had to organize all my own bedding and everything like that. So we did a massive IKEA shop and a massive Walmart shop and just got literally everything that I needed, bedding, towels, everything you don't think about until you get there. We
Right.
had to go and grab. But then yeah, Walmart trips to stock up on food and all the basics.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, it's always handy to know because I'm sure parents would be thinking like, oh my God, like what is my kid gonna be sleeping in? Like, they're gonna need food, they're gonna need all these other random necessities, like a towel. Like you don't even think about it. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's handy to know that, these teammates do help you. And I went through the same thing. Like my coach came and picked me up.
yeah,
Um, and some teammates help me out here and there to go and buy things from Walmart and whatnot. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's good. Okay, so I have one last question for you, and
okay.
that is, what advice would you give, like a fellow Aussie or someone that is wanting to study and play over in the US?
I would just say it sounds simple, just be open with whatever comes. So if
Yeah,
that means, there's a division of school like JUCO. I didn't know JUCO was a thing before I looked into it. And if you're wanting to play a certain division and JUCO comes through, I think JUCO is also a great route to take as well over there.
yeah,
And then also being open with once you're over here,
mhm,
new experiences and just giving yourself time to adjust and adapt because it is a big change. You're not meant to feel at home the day after. It's going to take a few weeks. So just being open to letting yourself figure everything out.
yeah. No, that's definitely good advice. Giving yourself a bit of grace, giving yourself a bit
Yeah.
of time to adjust, first of all, to the time zones, because wow, crazy, huh?
Yeah. Hmm.
And second of all, you've just met these people, you just met your teammates, and yeah, just giving yourself that bit of time to get to know them because,
Yeah.
you can't be besties overnight,
Exactly.
um, but yeah, just to give yourself that time to adjust to life and your
Yeah.
new roommate or your new room or your new bed and the food and stuff and everything else that comes with it. So it's really good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, Ruby, that's all we've got time for.
That's
Thank you
all
so
good.
much for jumping
No,
on.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Keep me updated with anything and yeah, look forward to the rest of your college career.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you again.
No worries. All right, bye.
See ya. Bye.